Virtual reality really is the next big thing. And of course, CNET is bringing you all the latest VR news, but we're also shooting VR video ourselves. This year, we're showing you the CES show floor in 360 VR.
That is right. We've teamed up with VR content provider IM360 to help us out. Here to tell us more about it is Miles McGovern, CEO of IM360. Thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much for inviting.
Thank you for allowing us to capture CES in virtual reality. We shot that video that's going to be up on CNET very soon, and you can use it in a VR sort of headset. It's already on YouTube, and we actually are going to play a little bit right now. So can you kind of like give us an idea of like how this was able to be captured? It was using this very impressive sci-fi looking device.
Absolutely. So we have a number of different cameras and that we use, but they're basically using multiple sensors, and they take all of that imagery and pull it all together, stitch it on the fly, and it can automatically be streamed out either live or on demand. So in this particular instance, we walked around the floor on an on-demand environment, captured it all, put it together into some small snacks that highlights of the show, and really put it up for people to have the experience.
And interact with. And if you can see right now, Bridget is interacting.
I'm doing my little scrolling.
With the video in real time.
We're on YouTube right now, so anyone can do this. And
so you can watch the mouse cursor sort of drag the video around.
And right now, Brian's in front of the Intel booth, and he's jumping around all over the floor. Oh, there's a drone behind him. Oh, and now he's in front of a car.
It's kind of amazing. It obviously gives you an experience that gives you the control of where to look, and I feel like that's a really powerful tool to give an audience. So, I mean, where do you sort of see that moving forward? What other applications can this technology be applied to?
I mean, we believe the applications are huge. Our heritage, we started working in the military intelligence side. We were actually the guys behind Google Street View. Okay. So, you know, going out, capturing streets. But it's a great app.
It's fantastic.
You know, we see this as far as, you know, education, you know, edutainment, you know, these types of experiences, whether you're able to bring millions of people to CES and let them virtually experience this and walk around. And it's not only, as much as Brian's doing a great job, you know, touring them through, but they can turn around and look, you know, what's going on behind them at the same time and really get a feel of being there. And you give
an audience member that choice, which totally is a game changer. I mean,
absolutely.
Where you would have this sort of one-way street, now it's this interactive situation.
Yes.
And I'm curious to talk about like the bigger picture of that and where that kind of drives what's being shot and how that's being considered for an audience. We talked earlier a little bit about, you know, other applications, entertainment-wise, sports-wise, live broadcasting. It's really powerful stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, we believe this, you know, I hate using the disruptive technology phrase, but the reality is I could drop one of these cameras, you know, ringside or, you know, courtside at a game and be able to stream that. I can pull out and stream it to tens of millions of people, whether it's on your laptop, your mobile phone where you can move around, look around, drop that into a cardboard, or, you know, you can actually stream what we have posted on CNET, have that to your Gear VR and any other VR device. At the same time, we see this evolving so that, quite frankly, if it's a big screen TV, you know, if I'm going to stream the Super Bowl, I want to have 40 people, and I want to stream it to some sort of set-top box that I'm streaming in 1080 or 4K, and when something cool happens, I can reach forward, grab my remote, and go, wait, pan left, pan right, and move around that view. Simultaneously, somebody could experience this with a headset or mobile device.
What's the conversation right now in terms of storytelling with VR? Because like you said, with the Super Bowl, you know, example, or whatever sporting event, you're not going to sit there and watch the whole game like this. It's the kind of thing you just pick up and go. So is there more talk now on like different ways of thinking about storytelling?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is reshaping the way people, you know, look at things. You know, the whole idea, we call it spherical storytelling. And it's that concept of, you know, putting people, rather than putting a camera in the corner and filming something and setting a stage, you really have to rethink about how do you create some activity around, get people to move through environments. We did some great stuff in the past, the Taylor Swift video with at Radical and American Express, and that, you know, it won an Emmy for them. It was a fantastic, kind of based on the Sleep No More So you're
Oh,
moving
right.
through a building, and it's that type of thing that becomes very exciting for this space.
That's really cool. We talked a little bit earlier about sort of like holographic applications, more entertainment, motion capture. Can you go into a little bit of detail about
Sure.
what kind of applications that's used for?
And I mean, that's part of our vision when we formed a partnership with Digital Domain.
Right.
And that was really focused around taking what we do in live action video and combining their heritage expertise in CG, special effects, and digital humans. So the Tupac at Coachella, they
Right.
created Tupac.
Everyone knows about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine starting to bring Tupac into a VR experience, or digital humans, and they're very real looking, and
Yeah.
it becomes a neat experience. And then the other piece is we have the luxury of having a mocap studio at DD, which is bigger than a basketball court. And you put on the suit, but you can put on a headset and walk around. It's like a huge Vive. You're walking around, and we create space. Most recently, we did a project with Mars. It's a NASA-sponsored thing, and it was Mars. And you're actually walking around a huge basketball court, and it looks like Mars.
Yeah.
And you're walking up these little ramps and going over bridges, and you think, like, after you start walking around for a few minutes,
You're there,
your
yeah.
brain's tricked.
Yeah.
It's very neat. So
It's
you
interesting.
should come out and have the experience.
You don't have to ask me twice. Yeah, I feel like, once you sort of get somebody to wrap their head around just what's possible and applications for VR that no one really thought of before, you talked about visiting places that we will never physically be able to go to. What do you think like the biggest challenge for VR is to permeate that sort of mainstream understanding and for people to really have to wrap their heads around it?
I guess one of the big things is everybody talks about it being a massive revolution. And I don't think this is going to be like the Russian Revolution and it happens overnight and
Right,
everybody's...
sure.
I believe every household will have a VR headset of some sort.
Right.
It'll be like growing up with a Viewmaster or something. And are we all going to jump right into that and have it? I believe that it's going to evolve more, and more like the Industrial Revolution over time.
Sure.
The digital era has enabled us to do what we're doing, and I see this as being part of any screen that you touch is now going to become more of immersive, so that when you want to take over control, there will be those opportunities, and whether it's a headset, or whether it's an AR type of experience, or whether, quite frankly, I'm streaming the Super Bowl or something, and there's a moment where I go, well, I want to pause this, I want to back it up, I want to look at the coach now and see what happened when they fumbled that pass.
Right.
It's like being there.
Definitely. And
So-
dictating that viewing experience
Exactly.
for sure.
I wanted to ask about the evolution also of the equipment, the camera equipment itself. Here at CES, there's lots of talk about different types of VR cameras. People are doing it themselves now very easily. There's even units that are under $1,000. So from your perspective, as a professional company who makes these, where are things going to the point where like anyone can just buy this and make it themselves? How is that changing the whole medium?
I think that's a very critical piece. I mean, when we first built these, we built the first ones with the 3-letter agency, and worked with them on developing it for 3D reconstruction.
And tell us about the one you have here, because this is what
So
we
this-
shot
yeah,
for
yeah.
CNET.
So this is just, we call this our Hex, and it's a camera that has 6 sensors on it, captures it all, stitches it. We have a platform that it ties to that stitches it all together. But where we're going with this, we just recently completed a project with DARPA, and it was building a camera, very small, deployable. It's about the size of a racquetball, and you see the price point coming down. Those are 4K cameras, very high resolution, small, portable type systems.
And there's even a camera on the top. So that's where it screws in, and then on the top you
That's
even
correct.
have a camera.
So this one has what we call a nadir, so it attaches to something. There are other ones that are nadirless.
I know,
but-
and now you hear Google, like we just heard earlier in the year, they have the things where you put like all the GoPros around, and
Exactly.
there's a lot of different variations of how to do this video yourself. But I don't know where professionals see things compared to amateur taking 360 video?
Yeah, I think you're going to have, both ends of the spectrum. So we're pushing the upper limits to push this to very high resolution, high frame rates, and so forth. And at the same time, getting something into more of the lower end consumer side that lets people go out, and if I want to shoot something and let grandma and grandpa experience a birthday party or something at a home level, it should be as easy as getting the out your camcorder, quite frankly, your phone, and integrating it to that and be able to go live stream this, or record it and post it up on YouTube or some private channel.
Definitely.
Are there any restrictions with the file size issues, that like with how much is being recorded at once?
They're bigger. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no doubt.
You have 6 cameras
So-
rolling simultaneously.
Yeah, but we use the same pipeline that you
Right.
use for existing. So if you have a 4K network here, we take this all, compress it down to a 4K, and move it across that network. So we're only as strong as the weakest link.
All right, well, thank you so much, Miles, for
Yeah, I
showing us
appreciate it.
and,
Thank
and
you.
providing this technology. Again, you can check out the video up on CNET.